The moon. According to ancient myth, the moon has not always been there, high in the sky, circling above the earth. Myth tells us that there was in fact a time before the moon actually came into being, a time of great rejoicing, a time of both harmony and love. Now, in order to correctly understand why the whole situation upon this once beautiful earth has now in fact degraded to the point that it has, under the constant influence of the moon, you must first understand what the moon is, and more importantly, where it did in fact come from. So here goes. Now, when mankind was very young, our bodies were then pure love, and our minds were clear and pristine, and as such, mankind was not troubled in any way. In fact, our lives were entirely trouble-free. Nature did in fact provide for all of our needs, so there was in turn no need to want for anything. A situation that would ever so slowly begin to change for the worse, as all of the pain associated with our past gradually began to build up inside of our physical bodies, in the pit of our stomach. That body of past pain that we all now refer to as our self. Now, as we are all in fact meant to be 100% responsible for our own inner pain, for our own inner self, for the destruction of it through the use of our God-given intelligence, something that we are in fact required to do by simply turning the light of our attention inward and directing that said light straight at anything that is seen to trouble us, holding it there steady, so slowly burning it out of our physical body in the process. Hence exactly why the pit of your stomach is in fact known as such. What with a fire pit, of course, being as it is, a place where things are burnt to their absolute destruction. Now, as man began to focus ever more on the external reality, on this existence, so in turn did man also begin to forget about his one and only real responsibility. His responsibility that required him to constantly keep his own inner self, his own inner pain, down to an absolute minimum in size. A situation that would in turn allow that thing that wishes to trouble us to more easily go about its business, so allowing it to cause ever more pain and upset in the process, both inside of our minds and in this existence as a whole. As of course, what we see external to us is in fact nothing more than a reflection of what is actually taking place inside all of our minds. It is in fact a physical manifestation of all of our thoughts, almost all of which, when you do begin to look at them in an intelligent manner, you soon realize are in fact a product of your own inner self, of your own inner pain. I mean, why do you think as many of your thoughts are seen to be as painful to you as they so clearly are? Now, as in time, those who were fully responsible for the destruction of their own inner pain did in fact continue to dwindle in number, down to almost zero in fact. So in turn was there ever more pain left in the human psyche after each human body was seen to eventually pass away. A situation that in turn led to a build-up of past pain within the human psyche as a whole. A great mass of pain that would eventually come together and appear as the moon circling in the sky high above us, constantly toying with us and manipulating every aspect of our lives for its own selfish ends, for its own selfish entertainment. with almost all of us far below, completely unaware of the negative influence it, the moon, is actually having on us, almost all of the time. I mean, how else do you explain away the utter lunacy that you now see being portrayed by most of mankind? After all, are not all lunatics a product of the moon's negative influence? Of course they are. And, as you also now understand what the moon does in fact consist of, namely pain, so in turn does it become much easier to understand precisely why the moon does in fact affect us all in the negative manner that it so clearly does. I mean, what else would you expect to see a body of past pain wish to create, if not more of itself, if not more pain? Best wishes, Andrew.